my ex-girlfriend became a nun, una monja, all right? Out of all the things, she didn't have a glow up by going to the gym. No, she went to church and decided to pray. And God told her, if you can't be with that man that is perfect, you need to marry my son Jesus. And that's what she did, okay? I couldn't wait to show my wife because I'm just scrolling through Facebook and I see a woman, I think she's in a full hijab, but una blanquita, I'm like, she looks Puerto Rican. Wait a second. I know those eyes. I know that nose. I've seen that mouth before. Oh, wait a second. Esta es esta cabrona y es monja. It's not a hijab. Because yes, nuns, they just wear hijabs, by the way. In case you didn't know, if you never thought about it, think about it now. You're welcome. And I'm like, espérate, puñeta, I gotta show my wife. Look at what happened. 17 years ago, she has her testimony. I didn't even know that nuns can have Facebook. Nuns can have Facebook. And they're always writing and sending you prayers and shit, and you could write to them. It's amazing. Yes, I decided to write to my ex-girlfriend, nun monja, de que si yo que carajo. I'm like, hey, ¿cómo está? ¿Qué está pasando? She's like, oh my God. She responded 3 days later, by the way. It wasn't an immediate response. So I don't know if that means that she was like, she saw me as the devil. Like, oh my God, the devil is tempting me again. But no, I'm a married man. I just want to know what's going on with your life. How the fuck did you go from me to marrying Jesus? ¿Tú me estás entendiendo? And she gave me the full rundown that she retreated back into her family because she's from the mountains and she was very religious. And she's like, I told you, and I was thinking about it, and she did. One time, literally, after eating KFC back home, we took classes together in college. And she's like, yeah, si esto no funciona contigo, yo me voy a meter a la monja. She's told me, if this doesn't work out with you, I'm just going to become a nun because I'm just done. Like, I like you and I like our dynamic, but if anything happens, and a lot of things, I think we broke up like a couple days later, maybe a week. She was fucking crazy in my mind. Clearly, she became a nun. I'm not saying that nuns are crazy. I'm sorry. This is just her. And that's not shade on her. I think religion helps people. Sometimes, maybe. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, pero ella era loca. I couldn't be with a fucking crazy. So ella se metió a monja. She tells me the story, and I'm like, good for you. Like, oh my God, it's amazing. I hope you understand that I'm going to talk about this for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, because I've met men that their wife or their girlfriend leaves them y se meten a lesbiana. They become lesbians. And that's kind of an understand, like I understand that jump. Porque si tú estás teniendo mucho problema with the same sex, like, oh, todos los hombres son así y lo que tienen es un maní, como que it's better to just, I understand how you would go from men, the sex, to lesbian. I understand that. Lo comprendo totalmente. But to go from men to Jesus, to just Jesus, not just like the church. No, you go and just Jesus it. Not just do it, she's literally just Jesusing it. Es increíble. I can't understand. Nuns, and then I started doing research on if nuns are allowed to do anything with their bodies, and they're not, okay? Which is surprising to me because I remember the girl, it was college. I wasn't, I remember what happened in college. She didn't have nun activities. This is a woman that was not doing any nun activities when I knew her, and all of a sudden she's a nun. Have you ever met a woman that has no, like, nun culture is not her thing? She has nun behavior. She has none. Ella no se comportaba como monja at all. She was not like a nun at all. Yeah, she didn't like cursing, but that's a lot of women out of respect. And she didn't like drinking a lot, and she was very, uptight. But she wasn't that uptight. You get what I'm saying. You understand. Tú sabes, no? Pa buen entendedor, pocas palabras bastan. I hope you understand what it is that I'm trying to say. Pero I never thought that she would go through it. I never thought that anyone that I knew would become a pastor or a fucking priest or a nun. And that reminds me, because I went to a Catholic, I went to 2 universities, okay? I went to the University of Puerto Rico, and then that was too hard, so I decided to go to the university, the Catholic University of Puerto Rico. And I remember my first week at the university, the Catholic University of Puerto Rico. I think I was making fun of something or someone that was happening with a couple of guys, right? And a nun that gave theology class, she's passing by, and she was just listening to me talk, and she taps me on the shoulder, and she just starts talking shit. And she's like, oh, that's not very Catholic behavior. If you're going to be in this school, you need to have like the Catholic tenets, or you need to act like, and I'm like, I'm not here because I'm a Catholic or nothing. She's like, then why are you here? I'm like, because it's easier. It's more expensive, but it's easier. I'm not here because, she's like, no, but you should have respect. I'm like, yeah, I respect you when I'm taking your class. And right now, I'm not saying anything to you, but outside of the classroom, I'm still a young thug. Tú me estás entendiendo? Yo todavía soy un hijo de la gran puta. So I'm just going to be me. You can't stop me from being me. And she's like, no, you're acting like all these other religions that come here and they try to make this school what it isn't. I'm like, you're wearing a hijab right now. Tú pareces musulmana y tú me estás hablando de otras religiones. She's like, oh my God, I got taken to HR, school orientation or something, because it was the first week and they had to orientate me on behavior and how I signed a contract to be. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Tú me entiendes? I just went back. I still made fun of people. I took her class for a semester. And what did I do in her class? Argue with her almost every fucking day about theology because I didn't agree with it. Anyway, so now I imagine that my ex-girlfriend that's a nun is probably giving classes or teaching people on doing things the religious way. Cuando yo sé lo que ella hacía, it's so funny to me. It's hilarious. If you knew a priest before he was a priest and you knew that he did things, a lot of things, and now he's a priest telling people to not do the things, because I know, and I can say, yo puedo decirte ahora mismo, yo conozco una monja que te dice a ti que no haga lo que ella hizo. I know a nun that tells you to do things I know a nun that tells you not to do things that she herself did. Isn't that weird? Isn't that interesting? And she's fine. She's a nun. She's totally fine. She still looks like, her face still looks like her. No idea about the body because it's covered in black. But I'm just saying, or blue, because I did see she also wears a blue hijab with a white thing, a white veil. Very interesting. But yeah, how many men do you know that their ex-girlfriends become nuns? Porque I'm one. Is a woman's bodily sneeze just the same as waste? Is she actually giving you something that's different than pee? And for years it's been argued que cuando tú estás tratando una mujer bien, that when you're treating a woman's body right and she decides to just all over your face, that it's just pee. And I have to disagree, it isn't, okay? Because I did an experiment. I've always been an inquisitive person. I'm no mythbuster, but if I can figure it out on my own, I'd like to use logic. So what did I do? I asked my dear wife, ven acá, por favor, dame un favorcito. La próxima vez que tú vayas a meas aquí dentro de este vaso. I gave her a mason jar and I told her, next time you gotta go and, relieve yourself here and leave that jar in the bathroom if you don't mind. Okay, no problem. The next day, just to make sure that we got rid of everything that was in the tubes, okay? Limpiamos esos tubos bien. The next day, I'm gonna go to work. Y me fui a trabajar. I went to town. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, chévere. And whenever you feel like, releasing your excitement, por favor, release your excitement. And so she did. And I'm tasting. I'm like, okay, wait, this is where it ends, okay? I don't need nothing. This is just purely experimental. I'm not finishing this because I gotta work, okay? This is working hours. This is not pleasure time. Work or pleasure, this is work. Pa, terminé. Pa, got it. Vamos. Chévere. Oh, shit. Voy al baño, I get the jar, open it up, make sure that I'm encapsulating the flavor, and then I take a sip. I'm not drinking the whole fucking thing. This is just, work, experiment. I wanted to be sure that when I came to do this video, I had the information. And I can tell you que es diferente. It's totally different. The taste isn't the same. There is more of a chemical salt flavor to the waste. More chemical salt flavor to the waste. There is more of a sweet flavor to the other thing, to the happy sneeze, okay? There's the regular achoo. This is not an achoo sneeze. This is an sneeze, okay? So when a woman sneezes, it's sweet. I don't know how to explain it. You have to do the experiment. I know that this is crazy. I'm not telling you to go and tell your wife to go to the bathroom. Take my word for it. And if you don't want to take my word for it, become a mythbuster yourself. Bust that myth, okay? Tell her to do it. You're already married. You do disgusting things all the time. There's more bacteria in the mouth anyway. So you can just take a sip just so that you know. I told my wife what I was doing after the fact. She was happy about it. She's like, oh my God, you must really love me that you're willing to do these things. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Ya estamos casados. I've seen you like in every single shape, way, form possible. So what's the worst that could happen? I did get a little bit sick, okay? I did get a little bit, I had a stomach bug for like a day, and it's worth it. It was worth it. The experiment was 24 hours of sickness is worth knowing that every single time that que tú le estás dando, que tú le estás haciendo sentir a esa mujer, y ella, que tú estás haciendo algo positivo y que su cuerpo está reaccionando hacia ti de una manera que no te está dando gasto, te está dando fruto, okay? It's like a fruit. It's like the burst of a fruit. It's literally like if you take an orange, it doesn't taste like an orange, but when you take an orange and you just squeeze it, you don't peel it or nothing, you just squeeze it and it just, it's the same fucking thing. So, myth busted, okay? It's not the same as pee. We the people is not us the people. No somos nosotros. You thought that that was an inclusive we in 1789? You thought they were talking about all of us? There's too many Latinos with we the people in their profile pic or in their bio. Like if the Constitution knew of their existence or gave a fuck. It wasn't talking about nosotros los Latino or black people. On the contrary, it went in favor of slavery. The 3/5 Compromise, Article 1, Section 2 in the Constitution, which basically meant que cada esclavo, every single slave was worth 3/5 of a person. 3/5 of a person. Why would that even exist? Because slaves had no rights. They were basically looked at as property, not humans, which meant that they couldn't vote. But they were actually people that the slave owners had to feed. So they had to count for something for the owners. The same way that Trump now is saying, no, those farmers, they need to take charge and they need to, be aware that they're responsible for those workers. Same fucking thing. Now, were those people allowed to vote? No. But did they have some sort of weight when it came to Congress? Yes. They were worth 3/5 of a person, which meant that the South had more people in Congress because they owned more slaves in general. There's the fugitive slave clause, which meant que si un esclavo se escapaba, if a slave escaped, even though they escaped to a place that was free, let's say they went from South Carolina and they went to New York. If New York officials caught wind that you were a slave to someone in South Carolina, they had to send your ass back because it was a part of the Constitution that if a fugitive escaped and if a fugitive slave escaped, they had to send you back. You had to go back to your owners, okay? There was also the trade slave clause, which meant that slavery could not stop for 20 years. So after 1789, at the very fucking least, we could still continue buying and selling slaves. Okay, it didn't stop for a while longer, and then that's why you have amendments. Okay, you should be writing down amendments in your bio. Si tú eres Latino, tú escribe las enmiendas, because in the amendments is where it starts getting better. The 13th Amendment abolishes slavery. Se acabó la esclavitud, kind of abolishes slavery. It doesn't really, okay? It just makes the people that go to jail slaves instead of, everyone else. But then you have a whole bunch of laws that are written around that que hace que cualquier persona de otro color gets into jail. The last amendment was the 27th. There's 27 amendments in the U.S. Constitution. 27. So 27 things have changed in 400 fucking years. It's crazy if you think about it. It's absolutely insane. The 27th Amendment, what was it? It was to not allow Congress to raise their own pay. So if Congress sits down, ellos se sientan y deciden, nosotros deberíamos cobrar más. We should be making more money. That law doesn't take effect until there's a voting, until there's a new voting session or a voting season or whatever the fuck you want to call it for another 4 years. When the new Congress comes in, they start making more money, not the ones, so you can't raise your own pay. That makes sense. Why did that happen? Was there a lot going on with oil and blah, blah in 1992? Yes, there was. The 26th Amendment, which came into effect in 1971, was that 21-year-olds were no longer the youngest people that could vote. It would be 18-year-olds. Why, you might ask yourself? Because they were sending 18-year-olds to Vietnam. So there was a lot of protests, a lot of hippies protested. How can I go and die for my country, but I cannot vote? Okay, so what the 26th Amendment? Okay, so now the voting age is 18 instead of 21. So we're gonna send you to die anyway, but at the very least now you can vote for president. But there's the electoral college, lo cual, it nixes that technically. But don't worry about it. It makes people feel it's good for morale. ¿Tú me estás entendiendo? So there has never been a constitution that has been perfect. Okay, you have to amend that shit. You have to change things as you go along. And 27 changes since 1780 fucking 9 is not enough. No es lo suficiente. It's just not enough. And yes, there is things in place. The first one, free speech, and the second one, fucking everyone, the right to bear arms. Cool. I understand why we are amending shit and why it is that makes sense for the country to continue being free. Free, because we're not free. Everything is more. How is it that we live in a free country but everything's expensive? Ta cabrón. When you tell me that the country is free but it's like a mind fuck. I thought this place was free. Not really. It's very expensive. Una frustración. It's very frustrating when you read, when you are aware of things. And I think that the reason more people aren't frustrated is because they don't know. Si tú no sabes lo que está pasando, you'll never be mad at anything. It's easy. Ignorance is literally bliss. And that's how they want you. They want you ignorant because it's their bliss. Ignorance it's a very minimal bliss for you because when shit happens in life, you're confronted with facts, okay? Cuando una persona se muere, if you have a family member that dies, you are going to notice that you are no longer so ignorant at the cost of what it takes to bury someone. You're going to become very smart to those facts. You're going to become very smart to taxes and the money that those people left behind and how much, like, ignorance is bliss up until the moment que you can't be ignorant no more, that the country literally forces you to learn. And I want to force you to learn so that we can change this shit before it's too fucking late con el cabrón este que tenemos como presidente. Why? Because porque las cosas son así? Because we allow it. If you ever ask yourself why, because porque things are the way that they are, is because we allow it to be the way that it is. Because that we the people has never been us the people. If you want to make it us the people, you got to do something about it, okay? Don't be Cuban. I auditioned for this movie, Babylon, for the role that ended up going to Diego Calva. In the audition, it had very little instruction. It simply said, Mexican in 1920s, early Hollywood. You're a guy starring opposite Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt. I was like, holy fucking shit, this is it. I'm going to kill it, okay? How did I not kill it? I did not have an accent because in my mind, there would be Mexicans that could talk plain English in 1920. We had been going back and forth. They had been going back and forth because, I'm not Mexican. I just could be anything. I could be Arabic. I could be Mexican. I am what you call racially ambiguous. So I thought I was in. I even dressed up in 1920 garments, okay? I was wearing an old suit that I had with Joker shoes, and they ask you to present yourself. I looked up how tall Margot Robbie was, and I said I was her same height, despite I don't remember how tall she is, but I was like, okay, whatever it is, I can make it. I could use, platforms or whatever. Tom Cruise does it, so I can fucking do it. And what happened? I didn't have a good audition. How do I know I did not have a good audition? Because I saw the movie. I know this one's not open. I bought this in rage, okay? Because puñeta, it could have been me if I would have had some instruction. If the sides would have come with have a Mexican accent, I would have played it as such. But no, they don't want actors nowadays. They just want people that are to play the roles, all right? They don't, if you know Spanish, they don't even test your Spanish. I'm watching a show right now starring John Hamm, which is Know Your Neighbors. I don't know what the show is good, by the way, but they have a Spanish-speaking cast, tienen a unas personas that they're pretending to be Dominican, and I don't know where the fuck they learned Spanish from, but it's definitely not Dominican slang, a Dominican accent. I think 2 out of the 3 people that I've seen talking Spanish did not know Spanish before they were cast. It's amazing to me. It's embarrassing as a Latino, habiendo tantos Latinos, there being so many Latin people that know how to speak English, that are actors, good fucking actors, that are dying to get a role, and you give it to it's embarrassing. It's truly fucking embarrassing. And I don't give a fuck what you know. Those actors, they've gone through I don't give a fuck. They did not deserve this role because you don't have the basis. And if you knew that you needed to speak Spanish with a Dominican accent, cabrón, go to the Bronx, go to Harlem, go to New York, go to DR, engrave yourself in the culture, learn how to speak it how they speak it. ¿Qué lo que pasa, mama? Learn how to say mamayema or something, because literally, they don't even use the slang. It's embarrassing. So it's hard to break into Hollywood, and it's even harder when the rules are not set. That is why, I don't know who it is that said this, pero recuerdo una persona negra. They were talking about racism and all that, and they were saying how black people excel in sports. And the reason that they excel in sports is because you can't change the rules as you go. Whenever you have something that you cannot change the rules as you go, different type of people will excel instead of just the runners of the thing. For instance, the easiest example that I can give you is video gaming. In a video game, the rules are there. They're set. ¿Tú me entiendes? Yes, there's cheaters, but the rules are there. And if you follow the rules, you will excel, you will achieve the goal. In life, en la vida, en el planeta que nosotros vivimos, in the country that we live, in the world that we live nowadays, you can follow the rules down to a T, and you will not achieve the results that were promised to you back in 1990 or even as close as the early 2000s, because ha cambiado y se nota, puñeta. It's just noticeable. So, I'm still trying. I think I'm a pretty decent. I know I'm a better actor than most of these fucks that I see out. I'm sorry. I'm not. It's not a thing of you gotta believe in yourself, right? The new rhetoric and the contemporary rhetoric is that you gotta be delusional. You gotta believe in. You gotta. But when I say that I'm the best actor that I know, it's like, nigga, shut up. You know, you're not supposed to say that, cabrón. No seas pendejo. Like, you're not supposed to be that way. It's like, no, but I am. I don't know Brad Pitt. I don't know Denzel. So I'm the best actor I know. Literally. I don't know actors. I just know me. And the actors that I have met throughout my doing Tubi movies that never even make it. I was in a movie once. They told me, the director told me, the producer, which is the same as the director, because when you're in lowball shit, everyone is the editor, director, producer, executive. Everyone is the same person. You just go to one person. No, we're doing this, and it's gonna be on Prime. The least it'll be is on Tubi. That shit isn't even on YouTube. It's on Vevo, whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed at most of the things that I've done because they're not good. And it's not that you don't give a good performance, but when it's like one good thing out of 70 things that are going on wrong, it's just never going to amount to anything. And I'm tired of it. The reason that I don't go and do stand-up anymore is because you get heckled by other stand-up comedians that are just there. Like, it's such a weird culture. There is no fermenting of goodness anymore. There is no fermenting that they're trying to pull out the good people. It doesn't exist. The best actor out there, we don't even know who it is. I'm sure it's not me. I'm sure there's not a million. I'm sure there's 2 or 3 better actors out there than me that we'll never know because they got frustrated with the system. And the system is in place for the people that take shit. It's not set up for the best people that are, yes, talent is good, but taking shit in los Estados Unidos de América, in the United States, what you really need to be able to do in order to make it to where you want to go is your willingness to take shit. That's all it is. If you ever see a manager and you wonder how he got there, he took shit. If you see an actor and you wonder how he got there, he took shit and possibly took one Harvey Weinstein en la boca. If you see a guy that made it on Bad Boy Records, you know exactly what he did now because his shit went in. He got his shit pushed in, like they say in Training Day. It's very interesting to me que vivimos en un país that doesn't foment the best of the best. It foments the best at taking shit. Y eso es una realidad. Why? Because, ¿por qué? Porque, I don't know. If you're Latino, you know another Latino that married a non-melanin woman just for the status. Se casaron con una blanca para vivirse esa movie, esa película, okay? They're just doing it so that they can show it off at family reunions. They show up, oh, mira, look at Lauren or look at Stacy. ¿Tú me entiendes? Mira, tiene ojo ahuellado. She has the hazel lines. Yeah, like, yeah, that exists back home. Oh, she has the blonde hair. Yeah, you could get that at Walmart. And hers, I can see the roots. Se le ven las raíces. It's definitely not natural blonde. No, but her family's from Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee, cabrón, te conseguiste una en Tennessee. And other Latinos like suck up to them. And it's like, oh, if you want to come over, they even change their accent. She's going to be making meatloaf, cabrón. Para comerme un meatloaf, te meto yo una clase de bofetada. If I go over to a Latin household, and you serve me meatloaf, porque eso es lo mejor que hace tu esposa, this is your wife's best fucking dish, I'm not going. No me importa un carajo. Be offended. Yes, be offended. Show her our culture at the very least. Don't intake that shit. Make it better. I know that this seems like, I don't know, racist, pero, in the other way, I'm not trying to be that. There's just better. Tú me estás entendiendo? There's just better. There's better food. There's better ways of looking. There's better ways of dressing. Porque let me tell you, I've never seen a Texan woman que yo diga, oh my God, her style is impeccable. Wow. Tú sabes, even Beyonce with the whole, I don't like Beyonce in particular, but with the whole Carter album or the Houston, that she's a cowboy and country, it's like, cool. But I don't like how you look, like that. If you're dressing like, it's not like my thing. ¿Tú me entiendes? A mí me gustan las mujeres de Puerto Rico, like a woman dresses in Puerto Rico with the low-cut jeans and the crop top, y tienen el pelo bien estirado. Sometimes if you go to Walmart, you can see them with the dewy, but that's okay. She's just getting ready for tonight. Okay, we all have our moments of getting ready. I accept it. If you fall in love as a Puerto Rican man, if you fall in love with a woman with a doobie in Walmart, that's real love. If your man fell in love with you while you were wearing a doobie, that's it. That's love for life. Now, if you fell in love with a woman that looks like, she's about to go ride horses, I guess that's love too. But at the end of the day, you notice that they're not happy because more than 70% of Latin and non-melanin marriage end in divorce. More than 70% of marriages between a Latin guy and a non-melanin woman end in divorce. Why? Culture shock. Not willing to change the family dynamic. And Papa, the dad of that non-melanin woman, is never going to treat you like he would a non-melanin man. That's just reality. And yes, there's exceptions to the rule. The other 30%. But you're probably going to fall under the 70%. And I'm speaking specifically a un amigo mío que se casó con una blanca. Yes, I'm talking to you, motherfucker. You know exactly who you are. And yeah, I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it. I know that you're going to break up soon. It's okay. I'll be there for your divorce. Not really. I'm going to make fun of you nonstop. Te dije que no te casaras con esa blanca. Esa tipa nunca te quiso. You were pretending to be someone that you weren't. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of Latin men that also get married with non-melanin women just because they're afraid of life. And they feel like this non-melanin woman is going to protect them. Not from the people that make the drinks cold. They're just afraid in life in general. Y cuando tú vas caminando, when you're walking around and you're holding the hand, because I've seen them, and you're holding the hand of a non-melanin woman looking like a brown, dark Latin man, people treat you different. They treat you como que, oh, tú sabes algo, maybe he comes from a family with money. No, este cabrón es de un barrio en Puerto Rico. Lo que pasa es que, tú le hablas a esta blanca de cierta manera y ellas caen. Pero is it worth it to you? Why? Because, ¿por qué are you doing this? I don't know. And I'm not against it. No vaya a creer que yo soy racista de verdad. No, I'm just making fun of the notion that most of these marriages end in divorce, más que the typical marriage. So it's just funny to me. But keep on doing it. Tú sabes, sigan pa'lante. Siempre sigan. Everyone should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and I should be allowed to make fun of everyone.